countdown.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. It's Brooke and Laura here. And I remember last week making a joke about the fact that I say Brooke and Laura when I'm Laura, but that just popped in my head.
Make a joke again.
Popped in my head again. Thanks for joining us again on for Lawyering Outside the Lines. And we've been talking a lot about technology this month, and we kind of wanted to tell you why we're talking about technology so much. Why do we stress technology so much in our practice and try to teach other attorneys about the importance of using technology? Yes, it makes you more streamlined. Yes, it makes you more efficient. Yes, it allows you to cut down on time spent on certain tasks. Yes, it allows you to communicate better with your clients. But why is that important to us? Our why is because it gives us the ability to have a life. Mindset and well-being is very important to both Brooke and myself. And we think it should be important to everyone because, as we all know, attorneys have kind of the highest rates of a lot of the bad things out there, alcoholism, suicide, that kind of thing. And the more time that we take to nurture ourselves, our mental and our physical health, spend more time with our families, spend more time reading books or doing hobbies, it's very, very important. And we kind of wanted to go back to some ideas of mindset and well-being that are a little bit different. I know it doesn't mesh exactly right, but it's what we wanted to talk about today because we, as attorneys, we take a lot of stress on, and we really do a lot of things that are harmful to ourselves by just not taking a breath and not really understanding what is going to make us not be so high strung all the time and that kind of thing. So it's, we talk about tech so that we have more time to do things to focus on ourselves. And we just wanted to kind of talk about a few things, a reminder of some things that we can do in our personal lives and with work that will help us with that stress level that we all tend to have, and get us to a point where we're maybe more content and more fulfilled in our lives.
Absolutely. So the first thing we're going to talk about is that is helpful to you is that nothing is personal. So that is probably the single most impactful thing for me, especially in a legal career on the professional side. Sometimes people act like it's real personal, and I'm sometimes wondering if they are related to the person they're representing. I've had that come up before and just thought, well, I don't know, you're extra passionate and beyond. But, it could be hard. It could be hard working with clients. It can be hard working with opposing counsel. And even in, your personal life, which also affects your professional life, it can, really bleed over if you are taking things personally. So having that realization is really impactful because everything that people do is about them and not you. And so if you can remind yourself of that, no one ever reacts to you, but only their narrative about you. So it's really not personal. It's really not about you. Even if they make it personal, even if it feels personal, there's something deeper there. So everyone's behavior actually arises from their own experiences, their own perception, and actually how they experience and view the world. And sometimes it sucks and sometimes it doesn't make sense because we are wrapped up in our own stuff and we have our own fears and expectations based on our past conditioning. But, we don't mean to be that way, but we are. And so it's just how it is. So when we experience somebody or something, the mind immediately assesses them and we make a judgment to keep us safe. And so it is part of our self-defense mechanism and how the fear, fight, or flight process actually works. So the brain makes kind of a rapid assessment and then comes up with a conclusion about the situation, about the person, this is safe or this is not safe. It's really as simple as that. So if something is similar enough to something that hurt us in the past, an emotional response, a reflex, it's going to be triggered. And its purpose is to get us to do something to keep ourselves safe. That's the whole purpose of that trigger and that reaction that we have. So while most of us are unconsciously kind of reacting to whatever presents itself in front of us, how can anything really even be personal? So it's really being very mindful in every situation, and taking a step back to remind yourself that it really truly is not personal.
And another important thing that Brooke and I really try to focus on is that you can choose happiness. It's a hard thing to do, but our general mood and well-being are partially determined by things like genetics and upbringing, according to some experts. Roughly 40% of our own happiness is within our control. And a lot of research in the field of positive psychology and things like that have shown that happiness is a choice and that anyone can make it. A human can alter his or her life by altering their attitude. And that's, a really big thing to kind of think about. And if you've got all this extra time that you're saving with using tech and stuff like that in your firm, and even if you're not, even if you're still super busy at work, it's still very important that you are healthy mentally, and you can make these choices for yourself. I didn't know that happiness was a choice when I was younger. Whenever anybody asked me where I wanted to be in like 5 years or 10 years, I always answered, I want to be happy, but I didn't know what that meant. And so a few ways that you can kind of work towards making some decisions that allow you to be happy is, number one, making it a priority and pursue it. 2 is choose that mindfulness so that you're aware of what is going on around you and inside of your own brain and body. And number 3, and it's honestly one of the more important ones for me personally, is being compassionate. I have a lot of compassion in my life, and that allows me to feel happy because I feel like I'm helping other people. So those are just a few options. But being happy is a choice that you can make. It's not necessarily just a feeling that you have.
Exactly. And next, after compassion, you are not responsible for other people's feelings. A lot of times, I think in work, in life, we want to make people comfortable, and we want to, make sure that they're not feeling things that they don't want to feel. And so whether we are just taking that on ourselves or they are projecting them onto us involuntarily, you should just be aware that you are not responsible for other people's feelings. So I'm not suggesting that anyone goes out and just becomes a total asshole about it, but other people, again, are not your responsibility, and you're actually not their responsibility. So it kind of ties in with the happiness that Laura was talking about. Like, you choose that. Somebody else, it doesn't matter what people do. People can do things that make you happy, but, generally speaking, you're not going to find happiness externally, true happiness. So, you can't change how someone feels, so don't try. You can influence their emotions, good or bad, but ultimately they are the ones that are going to decide that emotion and behavior. And it's extremely frustrating sometimes and extremely confusing, but it's a thing. We cannot expect to change how somebody else feels or change how or what they think. So the only person who can do that is that person. Same goes for us. You and you alone are responsible for your emotions. So no one is going to make you happy. You choose to be happy, like Laura said. It's a choice, and it's not one made by other people. It's made by you. It's super hard. It sucks sometimes, and it's not the easiest thing to do. We're by no means experts in happiness, but that having that awareness really is the first step. So we know to look internally. It is also not up to you to ensure someone else's happiness. Just like no one can make you happy except yourself, you cannot make someone else's emotions or thoughts your responsibility. So they're going to choose those thoughts. They're going to choose those emotions. And this is true whether it's your client that you're working with, whether it's, a family member, a friend. The most you can do is influence them. But even then, the other person is always going to interpret your actions in whichever way they want, whatever narrative they're creating. So no matter what I do or say, I cannot change how someone feels or what they do. That decision is theirs. And keeping this in mind, there's nothing wrong with you. I think a lot of times we think, well, what's wrong with us because we can't change this person, or, we're having difficulty in our interactions with this person. But there's nothing wrong with you if you cannot make them happy. That is up to them and only them. So take that pressure off yourself. Give yourself some grace. It's not going to be healthy for you, and it's not healthy for them either.
And we appreciate you kind of going on this weird little journey with us today.
It was weird today.
It was a little bit weird. I didn't know I was in charge of the script today, and I didn't exactly know what I wanted to say. And it's why is using technology important? It's so that we don't waste so much time. That's a really big thing. It's not wasting time so that we can do things that are important to us. And it's just we just wanted to do a reminder of some of the things that we like to focus on when it comes to mindset. And, both Brooke and I like to, I journal, she draws a lot, things that help us with inner well-being and inner peace. And so it's just a couple of reminders of different things that we like to do. So sometimes we just have weird journeys, and today was a weird journey, but we appreciate you. And thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a break next week for 4th of July week. And it's also the 5th Tuesday of the month. And we just ran out of things to say. So we'll see you back the first Tuesday of July, whatever that is. And we'll be here at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. I didn't write it down, but I did know. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.